Dear Guruji, what kind of energy must I use to get fellow feelings or fellowship into the human heart?
Could you test that in the English? What kind of what? What kind of energy should we use to fellowship into the human heart?
Using physical energy is not going to help you to get fellowship into the human heart. Neither is mental energy going to help you. The only way to approach the heart is with the heart, which naturally is the conveyor of the spiritual forces within you. So the answer is very simple. But from that, you would want to know, what are spiritual forces? Spiritual forces, as I've told you before, is a divine energy that permeates the entire universe. Now, do not mistake spiritual forces with spiritualism. Spiritualists deal in occultism and books and mediums and all that kind of rubbish. What the spiritualists do. But spiritual energies are those that come directly from divinity. Now, to create greater fellowship, you can use ordinary means, such as tactfulness. Flat salt, for example, is very tactful. Tactfulness, friendliness, and developing a greater consideration for other people. In other words, before doing any action, you put yourself in the other man's shoes. And that is called the golden rule. You say to yourself, if I should do this to this person, how would I feel if it is done to me? Now these are the surface values in developing greater and greater fellowship with people. And this fellowship can be shown as a certain kind of love. Now, what is love? As we spoke last night, I think, or the night before. Love is nothing else but spiritual energy. That is love. That spiritual energy conveyed through the heart, mind, and body can be called love. So, to create a real fellowship among people, you use the totality of yourself to have the highest form of fellowship. Because surface fellowship can be here today and gone tomorrow. 99.9% of the world's people are dishonest and insincere. They are honest and sincere to a certain degree, but not totally, not 100%. Because if they were 100%, then they would have found God. They would be self-realized. But very few people in this world can find self-realization. But through the actions that we perform in our relationships with people, we can go nearer and nearer to God. I've said this many times, that even if I'm wronged, I will have no malice and no hatred in my heart. For example, if you have promised me £5 for something, and you only give me £1, I will still have no malice. But everyone can't be that. Others will run to the court, or else get a couple of gangsters and send the man to hospital. That is not fellowship. And especially more so when you know that you, although you've promised me £5, and you've tried your best and worked hard and could only raise £1, I understand that. I will understand that. And by understanding that, there will be greater love in me. There will be greater sympathy in me. That look, this person has really tried hard and not achieved, and is unable to fulfill the promise. Although you might have made mistakes. You might have got the amount that you promised me, but not careful spending might have made you lose the amount. that you have been sincere and honest. So, true fellowship is that which comes from deep within. It has its surface value, and it can only be expressed through the physical self, which is but an instrument. But do not regard the instrument to be the real thing. Ron plays the piano. Right, the piano does not play by itself, and neither is Ron playing the piano. There's a deeper force within him that plays the piano. So that is how you need the piano as a physical instrument. You need the mind in the form of Ron. And you need that inner energy that flows through Ron to play the piano. So you need the mind, the body, and the spirit working in a togetherness that will bring true fellowship in this world, and that will never become a total possibility. There has never been true fellowship in this world. Since the time of Rama 9,000 years ago, since the time of Krishna 5,000 years ago, since the time of Buddha 2,500 years ago, since the time of Christ 2,000 years ago, there's never been true fellowship at all. And we know so well that a brother would cut his brother's neck for sixpence. Father and son would fall out and not speak to each other over a miserly few pennies. That's happening all over. Hatred develops in this world just because a harsh word is spoken, perhaps. If a person speaks or says a harsh word to me, what I first do is say, I say, now what has brought this on, this harsh word? When I study the person, I look at the person, and I would immediately find that that person is going through some kind of mental turmoil. The person must have been upset. Oh, something might have gone wrong. His wife might have given him burnt toast in the morning, or he might have got out of bed on the wrong side. Something that makes a person speak harsh words and not kindly words. Because you can tell people things, you can tell people the truth in so many different ways. You can tell a person, get out. Or you can also say, friend, would you please mind leaving? I'd like to be alone for a while. Yes. Now that comes from the mind. Mental culture. We just don't take things hard upon yourself, which is not necessary. Because the one that speaks harsh words, he suffers more than the one who's spoken to. Also. Because the one that speaks those harsh words, it will linger in his subconscious and form a sanskara. But to the other one, to whom harsh words are spoken to, would be angry for an hour or two and then will go out of his mind. It won't cause a sanskara in him. But the doer, the speaker, will suffer the consequences of sanskara. Yes. So we call, there are many organizations that call themselves that have a title, in their title they have the word fellowship in it. But there's really no fellowship. They join together because of their own personal selfish needs. I've been on many courses. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm doing 3-4 trips a year, every year, all over the world. And I've seen young men coming, and young ladies also coming to courses to find boyfriends. I don't blame them. They're lonely. So why not meet up with people? And you might just find the right person. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm talking about is motivation. I go to Guru Raj's course. How much will I learn from him? How much will he be able to transform my way of thinking? How much will he be able to change my perspective? What spiritual energies will I gain from him? And how much can he transform my life? That should be the true motive. Because these things do happen in spite of any motive that a person comes to a course for. To me it's unimportant. The boy is lonely and, of course it's a nice place to meet a person of the same trend of thought in the spiritual line. It's good for young ladies as well. I've had courses, not a few people, 500-600 people at a time. Yes, large courses. And it becomes one beautiful, happy family. Beautiful, happy family, but I do not know about fellowship. Because fellowship is something which two friends meet, and they become fellows for life. Otherwise, you ship them off. Fellowship. I'd like to see a ship named Fellows. Yes. And of course, this all comes from the cultivation of the mind and the unification of the inner spirit with the mind, so that the inner spirit can flow through the mind and the body in the form of love. So that is why love is so indefinable. Because once you can define love with the mind, then you can define God. And both you cannot do. God is an experience, and so is love an experience. If someone tells you, oh, I love you, and then you ask, why do you love me? And the person replies, oh, because you've got such beautiful hair and such a lovely nose and lovely lips and this, that. But remember, it's not love. But if the person answers, I love you, says, I love you, and when you ask why, and the person says, I do not know, that would be a true answer. Because there's no explanation to it, and the same thing applies in fellowship and in relationships with other people. You just don't know why love somebody. And you cannot have true fellowship without having true love. It does not need to be perfect, because no one is perfect. All the great masters of the world, including Buddha, Krishna, and Christ, they were not perfect. No, they were 98% perfect. There was 2% imperfection in them. If they were 100% perfect, they could never remain in a body. They would disintegrate. For example, the communion practice, when I go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and great masters like Ramakrishna said this, but if you stay in Nirvikalpa Samadhi for 21 days, your entire body will disintegrate. Yeah. So you go away there into the unknown, and you come back and live an ordinary life. But when you come back, you bring back so much with you. So, the whole idea is to make oneself beautiful. If you go and call the butterflies, they won't come. The butterflies come, they won't come. But you make your garden beautiful with beautiful flowers, the butterflies will come on their own. You do not need to call. And the same thing applies in fellowship. The same thing applies in one's relationships. The idea is to make our own selves better and better and better. I have not yet found a single person in the world, and I know hundreds of thousands of people. I have not found a single person in the world that hates me. Not a single person. They might dislike me for the moment because, I do not hesitate in telling them the truth. People don't like to hear the truth always, They don't. And you pamper them, oh, you're so nice. That they like. They might dislike for the moment, and they start realizing, Guruji was right, when the penny finally drops. So it turns back to the original love. I know of no person in the world that hates me. And the reason is simple, because I hate no one. I love everyone. I have certain people who I love perhaps because of certain bonds, a little more, a one-pointed love. But I love everyone, so everyone loves me. And that's how it works. If you take a pound note to a shop and ask for change, they will give you exactly the same amount in silver as what the pound note would be worth. They won't give you more. So you get back in life exactly what you give it. Exactly what you give. Nothing more and nothing less. You don't get shortchanged and you don't get given more. So if any person complains of lack of relationships or fellowship or the misery, you are getting exactly what you have given. You give nothing, you get nothing. As a matter of fact, by giving, you get more, really, in the spiritual field of life. It's a very old saying, you take one step to God and He takes 10 steps to you. You will just go in the right direction. And one thing I can promise you, and which I know, you cannot go to God. You cannot. God comes to you. He comes to you. If you are ready, He just descends upon you. The ground does not go to the seed. The seed goes to the ground. The seed of creation, which is God. So, we have to, pardon, I caught a cold here in Dublin, and that's all I caught. So you see, life can be made very, very joyful, very, very pleasant. And I'm always the giver. Always, always, always. Oh, I always give more than what I take or get. Oh. I invited you all, for example, for lunch or supper or dinner, whatever. You're my personal guest. It never came from IMF. You're my personal guest. I give, always. And that is nothing. It's a little matter. But what I really give, the deep love that's within me to you all, everyone. And still more than that, that spiritual force, that spark. It's up to you to fan that spark and create it into a fire. So the fire rages within you and gives you and makes you experience the heat of love, the heat of God, the heat of goodness. And that is how life has to be lived if you want to find happy, and which everyone is trying to find. Nobody can say, I'm looking for suffering. Everybody is looking for happiness. For example, the blessed object, since early this morning, since about 3 o'clock, I think, I was sitting and meditating on every single object. So much spiritual energy is given into it. And then this morning, around about 7 o'clock or so, I dozed off a bit for about an hour and a half to sleep. When you love people, you give those people your all. You see. I would invite you to dinner, but I would never expect you to invite me. No, I don't expect. And yet, from ancient times, the system has always been that the guru looks after your spiritual welfare, and the chela looks after the guru's material welfare, because he also has to live and eat food. You just can't live in love and fresh air. So simple. So, to find true fellowship, I'm just giving you all these little examples. I speak from personal experience. I never speak from what I hear from others. To find true fellowship, always be the giver with a clean heart, total clean heart. And you see how it comes back to you. 10 times more. And when appeal was made here from people, I can be very hard. There were 30 people in the room, and I got handed 7 envelopes, 2 with English pounds in it, which naturally would come from some of our English visitors, and 5 with punts in it. Yeah, that's giving. It's a joke. If a person can't afford, they can't afford. Understood. Not that I expect anything. The appeal was just made so that I could cover my costs. And traveling thousands of miles costs a lot of money. Now we have to catch a plane, else I could go on and on. So to sum it up, true fellowship is a quality that comes from inside. And if that quality is brought to the fore, then that fellowship will be an eternal fellowship. The woman I love is not someone that I just met so many years ago. No. Someone that I met many lifetimes ago and met again and again and again. Therefore the bond is so strong. And there are many of you here which I've known before. Not only this lifetime. There are many of you here that have sat at my feet and listened to me teaching. I know, I can see through it. Well, now we come to the usual few jokes before we leave, because we're going to be chucked out just now. I believe they said that we've got to clear our rooms by 10 o'clock, Dana, is that true? Yeah. Now in Scottish pubs, they have this chucker out. And they are called, the chucker outs are called the bum disposal squad. The Welsh are reputed to have a 6th sense, but they haven't got the other 5. And then this Welsh shepherd went for his first ride in a motor car, and the driver put out his hand to make a right turn. So the shepherd that was in the car, he said, "Here, boy, you keep your hands on the steering wheel. I'll tell you if it's raining outside." And then, of course, this British worker in a car factory, he was very, very superstitious. He wouldn't work on any day that ends with a Y. The Scotsman and his wife asked the daughter, "What would you like for Christmas?" So the daughter says, "I want a watch." So they allowed her to watch. And then this other Scots person, he asked his wife, "What would you like for your birthday?" So the wife said, "I'd like something with a diamond in it." So he bought her a pack of cards. Well, we shall have to end now, and we shall end with a prayer. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May the Lord return to us. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Well, thank you very, very much for all your kindness here and being here and your lovely hospitality and friendship. I really enjoyed myself. It was nice. Thank you.